If your business is drowning in MCA debt and you're over leveraged with even just one merchant cash advance that you can't afford, much less many of you are stacked with two, three, four, or even five merchant cash advances with a first, second, third, fourth, fifth UCC filing on your business, and you can't afford these payments, you're choking out, you can't afford to pay for your employees' payroll, you can't afford to pay for vendors' expenses. You're basically have to make a choice of either defaulting on these cash advances or keeping your business going forward. If you're in that position, well, you do have options. If you have good credit, one of your options is that you can still restructure and refinance this bad debt into a better debt option, which can be a SBA 7A loan. It could be a business line of credit or a business term loan. But now we do have to have good credit. We're talking about at least 700, 710 or better with no late payments, no collections or charge-offs, no bankruptcies, especially in the last 5 to 6 years. So you have to have clean credit, cannot be over leveraged on your credit cards either. Credit card balances need to be at least around 35%, give or take, which is going to make sure you have the highest credit scores that you can have. And as a result, if you can verify the bank statements, tax returns, and you do have good credit, you can restructure and get into an SBA loan or a business line of credit or business term loan to get out of this MCA debt. Now, there is a challenge with that. And the challenge is that the merchant cash advance companies are charging you either a daily or a weekly payment. So that means the balance keeps moving. How much you owe keeps moving. When you're trying to close on a loan or a line of credit with a legitimate bank or lender, they have to have a set amount that the loan contract and documents are being closed on. So the merchant cash advance companies have to be willing to work with you and your bank to stop their payments for a certain amount of time. It could be a week, 2 weeks, or even a month, so that you can schedule your closing, so you can sign the final contract based on a set number, and then the bank will pay back or pay off the merchant cash advance. They'll receive their full payment. There's not a default. You're not stopping any payment, but it's going to take time. It's going to take potentially at least a month to 2 months, if not even more. And again, that's also based on if the merchant cash advance companies are going to cooperate with you and the bank or lender to stop their billing, to allow them to finalize their loan or service contract that you can close on to pay off that merchant cash advance debt. Okay. If you have one merchant cash advance, it's probably going to be a lot easier than if you have two or three or more, because now you're only having to work that out with just one lender, one merchant cash advance company. But when you have two or three of them, even if let's just say the first two are cooperating, but the third one is not, well, that target of the balance that needs to be paid off, it keeps moving every day or every week. As a result, it's going to delay and prolong the closing of the loan or line of credit that you're trying to close on. So again, this becomes the challenge. Now, if you're in a situation where you can't wait a week or a month or 2 or 3 months because you need to make payroll next week, you need to pay your vendors now, tomorrow, right? You're in a situation where you have to make a decision. Either you're about to default on these cash advances so that you can pay your other business expenses and keep your business moving forward, or you're going to pay the cash advances and then your business is going to crash and burn. So if you're in that situation, especially if you don't have the credit to qualify, and so two variables here. Number one, it's urgent. You have to stop the sinking of your ship immediately, because otherwise your business is going to crash and burn. It's going to sink, right? Number one. Number two, you don't have the credit. Even if you did have the ability to wait, your credit is just not where it needs to be to qualify for a paper tier one loan like an SBA 7A or a true business line of credit. If that's the case, then your only potential solution or option is to try to negotiate a settlement with the cash advance companies. Now, can you do that yourself? Of course you can. You could try. However, you're probably not going to get too far. They're just going to keep pushing the ball further down the road, and they might give you a little bit of a grace, but at the end of the day, it's not going to make a big difference. It's not going to really help you out. Just like if you got a traffic ticket, you could go to court and you could represent yourself. But you need to spend time to learn the law. You need to spend time to know how to argue on your own behalf to represent yourself. You can do that legally, yes. However, maybe you're not the best person to do that. Maybe it's wiser to hire an attorney to represent you in court if you have a traffic ticket. Same thing here. Maybe it's wiser to have an attorney represent you to negotiate settlements with these cash advance companies. And that's what a merchant cash advance debt restructure company that is legitimate, what they do is they have attorneys in your state that are specialized in the law against merchant cash advance companies and the frivolous activities, especially when they start stacking you where you're over leveraged. You don't have to take that. You can get out of that. And these attorney services, they can help you to do that. I work with several attorney firms, depending on the size and the amount of debt that you have, that I can refer you to and at least see what their offer is. Okay. Now, what they typically do is they'll negotiate a settlement at a lower amount. The merchant cash advance companies don't like it, and they're going to try to scare you and make you think that, well, by doing this, you're destroying your credit. It's not true. They have no credit recourse. They cannot affect your personal credit because it's not personally guaranteed, and they cannot affect your business credit. The only recourse they have is the UCC filing, which most of these companies put that UCC filing on your business as soon as you sign the contract. So that UCC filing is probably already there. So if that's your concern, you can get out of that over the next 6 to 12 months. Once you settle it and everything gets paid off and settled with the merchant cash advance company, you will be able to get the UCC filing off. In the meantime, the attorneys go to war on your behalf and you don't have to deal with them. You now pay the attorney services their fee for their service, which is basically a new loan, and their fee is added into that loan. With that, it's still going to be less than what you would owe the merchant cash advance companies. Their goal, the attorney services that are providing this debt restructure, is to save you between 50 to 80% of your monthly expenses of what's coming out of your pocket right now. So within the next week to 2 weeks, you can immediately stop the sinking of your ship. You can immediately get yourself to where you're floating again. And I call this your life preserver. Okay, where you're floating again, where your business is not drowning and you can breathe. You can pay your employees, you can pay your vendors, you can keep your business moving forward. Now, in the meantime, if you want to work with me to help you rebuild your business credit, rebuild your personal credit, and over the next 6 to 12 months, prepare for a true paper tier 1 loan like an SBA 7A or a true business line of credit where your rates are around prime in that range, well, then that's my goal for you, is to help you to get there. But if you need to stop the sinking now, don't delay. Scan the QR code above and you can schedule a free call with me if you just like to discuss, or just go to this first step. Step 1 is your life preserver. Basically, go ahead and submit your information so I can connect you to the right company according to the amount of debt that you have. And they're going to give you an offer. If it makes sense, take it. If it doesn't, don't. Make sure you ask your questions, because if you have other loans like factoring or even maybe some other loans that are really good loans that you have behind or before these cash advances, there may be a conflict, because sometimes those factoring companies or other banks or lines of credit that you may have, aside from the merchant cash advance, will have a conflict if you were to do a debt restructure. So make sure you disclose everything to me or to the agency I introduce you to, so that you're making the best decision. Okay. We're not here to get you into another bad situation. We're actually trying to help you fix a mistake and then get you back on track. So over the next 6 to 12 months, you can get into a better loan or better line of credit for your business that is actually going to be helpful. And at the same time, I also want to show you your new B.O.A.T, which is your banking opportunities, assets, and taxes strategy, where you're going to become your own bank, and eventually you'll never have to borrow from any bank ever again. With that said, if this video was of value to you, please like, subscribe, and share. Please let someone know who will let someone know about this video and the value of this content. Thank you guys for watching. I look forward to speaking to you. God bless and take good care.